Okay, now it's time to start putting this car back together. First, water pump. I'm Shawn.
I'm Jill.
This is 151 Garage. Before we start the video, yes, I know this is a thermostat. I just refer to it as a water pump because it annoys the living hell out of Jill. Every chance I get to annoy her, I take it. I take full advantage of it. So this, for the remainder of the video, will be referred to as the water pump, aka thermostat. Good?
You can have a lot of dirty looks.
Yeah. Anyways, we are going to start putting this vehicle back together. We took it apart. It did have a front end collision, so all the coolers, the radiator, transmission, power steering, and AC condenser were all trashed. We are going to remove some things to make it a little bit easier for us. Also to make sure that the lines for the radiator aren't damaged, cut, or anything like that. So we're going to remove all that for ease of installation of our new radiator, as well as be able to inspect it, put new clamps on it, make sure everything's good before we go put everything back in, put the fluid back in, and find out there's a small cut in the bottom of one of the lines. That's the worst thing that could happen, is get everything done and then figure out you have to take it all apart. Now, why we're changing the radiator or the water pump? Because I want to make sure that while we have it apart this much, we might as well change it out. That way, if there's any problems later on, I don't have to remove everything, drain everything. This vehicle has like 200,000+ miles on it, so we want to make
so many miles. The mileage is actually exempt.
Yeah, we want to make sure that it's good. So I bought a brand new one, the whole housing and everything. That way, there's no issues. Before we did start, we did install Redline tuning struts. If you guys don't have them, we have them on this one. We have them on two of our Broncos. Absolutely wonderful. It gets rid of the strut tower or the strut rod or whatever it is in the front. Prop rod. It makes it a lot easier. There's nothing in the front getting in your way. You're not going to bump it or anything like that.
And we even did it before Redline Tuning came out with this on Beast as well, because he didn't have anything but a prop rod.
Yeah, so we did a lot of Redline tuning. Any kind of struts like that is absolutely wonderful.
Hood struts and trunk struts and hatch struts, lifesavers.
Yeah. Anyways, let's show you what we got to do or what we're going to do to be able to put this car back together, or at least start. It won't be completed today. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. We're just kind of go through what we're going through today, or at least try to.
Yeah.
Let me take you off of that.
Yeah, there's no way this is going to be up and running by the end of the day.
No. Okay, so we have to change the water pump. It's right there. This right here needs to come off, as well as, I believe, the throttle body. I'm not sure if there's a gasket back here, but I guess when we take this off, we will find out. I think you could do it, but it's going to be hard getting it between these, all this area. I don't think it's going to leave much room, so I do have to take this off, as well as the duct and the filter. I'll just take everything else out. I do want to take off this and this line. I already took off the line right here because it was in my way, but I want to make sure there's nothing cut underneath. I think it's easier just taking it completely off, clean them up real good, inspect them, and then if they're good, I can put them back on. If they're bad, at least I'll have the hose off already and I can just put in a new one. But as of right now, well, again, with these are all damaged. I left them on because I didn't want the fluid just draining all over the place. We'll kind of pull them out of the way, put the radiator in here, and then hopefully they won't be too far in the way, but we'll see. There's some issues with the radiator, and I'll show you later on.
Are you learning?
I know.
He's learning how to be a master mechanic.
I know that. Well, I'm gonna steal my job. Maybe that, hey, who's that Shawn guy? We want Shadow back, right?
So I did take off all the lines, radiator lines like we were saying. I want to make sure they're going to be looked at, inspected, make sure there's no cracks, clean them up real good. I also took out the water pump.
Just to make a look at it, make sure there's no issues. We are going to clean all that up before we move on. Make sure nothing drops inside. Clean up what we can in there. I did put tape over that. That way nothing goes into the intake. Since it is an open area for the intake, I want to make sure that was covered. Now, everything else looks pretty good. We'll do a good cleaning and wipe down of all the areas and we'll start installing everything. But until then, we'll be right back. And then we'll go ahead and throw this in as well. Once we get that in, we'll throw this in. So we did get that all cleaned up. We made sure a little bit of Scotch-Brite, cleaned up all the rough areas, make sure it's a little bit smoother than what it was before. There is an O-ring. You hold that right there. On the back side of that, as you can see, I made sure it has one before I put it down there. That way I don't have to go through the process of putting it down there, find out the O-ring was missing or whatever. We'll go ahead and install this. I did clean up the bolts a little bit more too. At least 2 of them. So I cleaned them up, just put them in a drill, smoothed out all the rough edges right there, smoothed out all these, and clean them up as well as I could. They're not great, they're not brand new, they don't need to be, but at least they're a little bit better than when they were when they came out.
Yeah,
And we'll
this
go
ain't a show
find
car. So.
that bowl right there. So, okay, we'll set you up and put it all back together. Oh, I did clean up this, and I situated the brackets or the clamps a little bit better than they were before, because the other one was over here. It made it hard to remove because it kept hitting this spot right here. So I put it on the other side. It's a little bit more out of the way, a little bit better accessible. That one right there was perfect. So we'll go ahead and throw everything back together. Quick and I'll cut it out. Okay, like I said, I didn't put this in. I did look at this, I did clean it very well. Made sure there is no big cuts in the rubber from these things. A lot of people torque these down way too much. They don't need to be. Plug works, everything's good. We will start the installation of this, the radiator. But first, we'll clean up all this stuff. Make sure it's nice and clean before we put it all together. Like I said, we want to make sure everything's good. We inspect everything before we go put it together and find out something's wrong. Best way to clean it is with everything out of the way. So
Yeah.
we'll be right back after we clean it. We went ahead and cleaned everything from this forward, including the beam right there. We want to make sure that the cross beam is all clean. Make sure it's inspected, that we didn't have any damage. Now the damage was on this side and it pushed back pretty close to that. We want to make sure it didn't hit anything. Now, as you can tell, we cleaned everything all the way across. It's not clean on the very corners or the bottom. We'll do that when we get the vehicle up in the air. We also cleaned where the radiator mounts to on both sides, as well as the mounts. And these as much as we can. These go in the front. Right there, we'll install those in just a second. Pretty good. We cleaned all the way up there. I say we, I did help this time.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
And we even did the hood. As you notice, there is the insulator that is missing, and we cleaned all underneath of it.
Now the reason I pulled the insulator off is because over in one of the corners it was starting to wear, and we wanted to make sure that it didn't fall on anything or, you know, come off. We just wanted to make sure it was nice and clean underneath. We got rid of the insulator. We don't need it. This is going to be a rally car, but it's pretty good. And thank God for these. I can't say enough good things about Redline Tuning. Like I said, we're not sponsored by them. I wish I was, because I have those on pretty much every vehicle I own. It's real nice to have them up there where I don't have this in the way. So, but we do have a radiator. Go ahead and put that down. And I'll show you the radiator here in just a second. So this is the radiator we have. It is aluminum radiator. We do have fans. Once we get this installed, I'll show you some of the issues that we're gonna run into and we have to figure out. This won't be done this video, but we will install this, clean the lines up, put everything back on, and kind of show you what our ideas are and what our plans are. We will not be putting that in just yet because we still have to put in the 2 coolers, transmission, and the power steering.
Yeah, power steering
cooler. We have to install that through this, which we can't do with that installed. So once we get those installed, we will install this and wire it up. This is going to be a little bit different because this isn't factory wiring. We're going to have to figure out which way is which versus, you know, push versus pull. So we'll figure that out later. Let's go ahead and set you up and we'll get this installed. Okay, quick and simple. We'll get the lines in, we'll get them cleaned up, and we'll put the lines in here in a second. But this right here is the issue we're gonna run into. The fan shroud for the original one had a bracket that actually came out that these bolted to. This, and grab me the other one. This mounts right about here. Now the problem is there's no place to mount it. I mean, literally there's, unless I go grab original one. I have the other one. I have an idea of what I'm gonna do is basically just get a piece of angle iron, aluminum, and bolt it to here, and then just mount that to that. It should bring it out enough to where it clears the fans. I just need to worry about that side, and I have an idea for that a little bit later. We'll figure it out, but that's the initial idea, is to get that bracket installed, put a couple rivets or put a couple bolts in here, one on either end, and then maybe 2 in the center somewhere right around here. That way I can do it. Now there's alternatives. I could get an aftermarket one that's basically just all aluminum, but I just want to deal with that. That way everything's wired in, or everything's hosed in exactly the way stock, minus upgraded fan shroud. Or sorry, fan shroud and radiator. So anyways, let's get the hoses cleaned up real quick and we'll come back and put them all together.
They're already wiped down.
Okay, we got them clean and we will install them real quick. I don't know what you guys' Georgia clay is made out of, but holy crap, that stuff does not come clean very easily.
Over there.
Yeah, I know. So this will go there, and then this goes underneath right here. So it has enough room for that, and obviously this one will sit like right here.
Okay.
We just need to get a piece of aluminum, make basically a bracket that goes all the way across. That way we can mount these two.
Can we weld aluminum?
Huh?
Can we weld aluminum or no?
No, we'll just bolt it. So all I'm going to do is just put rib nuts on the back side and put bolts on the front side.
Oh, okay. So you're just gonna drill through this, the channel.
Yeah, just going to go. Yeah, just drill through the channel right
Okay,
here. This
so-
isn't.
He's not gonna drill through the cooler body. He's just gonna. There's a lip
Yeah,
right here.
there's a lip.
So for those of you that don't know anything about radiators, there's a lip on here. It's like a channel for your hoses and everything that is covered by the sight shield. That's where the hose is running right here. He's
Yeah,
gonna drill
basically-
in here so it won't compromise the body
Yeah.
of the radiator. So we'll do that there and up here.
And we'll put a bracket here. So I'll use rib nuts on the back side of the bracket. I'll be able to bolt this to the bracket all the way across. I'll probably put one here, and one here. Since I don't really need a whole lot here, I'll just put 3 across. That way I can put rib nuts on the other side of the angle iron. That way I can bolt it straight into that, as well as that right there. So that isn't too bad. Fits nicely. Really nice, actually. So
Bless me. Sorry.
we'll cut it off right there because I think we got to go to the store, get that,
Yeah.
get it all drilled out, and we'll kind of show you what we did the next video. This is going to be like an ongoing thing. We're not going to try to finish anything because it's going to take a lot of figuring out, especially with aftermarket components such as this and the fan shroud and my dogs getting in the way.
With aftermarket
Go.
stuff, with OEM, there's always modifications you have to do. Even though they say that they fit with OEM, there's always a chance that you're gonna have to mod
Can you do me a
something
favor?
or
Can you
other.
grab that?
Eh.
Okay. The water pump and the radiators installed. Not too bad. Now we have to come up with solutions, which I think we already have, to install the OEM like reservoirs
For both the power steering and the coolant.
Yeah, and I think we came up with a good solution. It's not too bad. We just need to figure out if it's gonna flex a little bit and solve that problem later. But you know, it's not too bad. This isn't gonna be we're gonna get this done, period, because we do have a lot of things we gotta figure out. Since this was a salvage vehicle, we don't know what other issues arise. This starts, but that's pretty much it. It does start and drive. Obviously, no radiator in it. We
Not gonna
couldn't
go
take it for
far?
a very long test drive. In fact, it was turn around, put it right back in the garage. So we do have to figure out the other things and get everything built. We will do that on next video and show you what we did, what our solutions were, as well as some other things for the vehicle. This is going to be every weekend. We're going to work on this for a couple hours, maybe longer. We do have to go to a pull apart tomorrow and try to find a bunch of parts we need, like the fenders, and you'll see that on a future
Actually
video.
looking forward to that. I love junkyards. Junkyards are just like a toy store for me.
My kind of girl.
I'm just
Okay.
like, yes, look,
Hope
give me your
so-
wallet and let me just have some tools and give me free reign. Let's see what I can come up with.
Give me your wallet is the one that scares me. Okay. Hope to see you next video. And hope I still have a wallet to come back to. Bye.
Bye.